You're not broken. You're just carrying pain no one ever helped you release. And the truth is, you can't find peace by pretending you're fine. You have to heal for real, not to fix yourself, but to finally feel free. Introduction: Why peace starts with healing. Let's be honest. There are days when the world feels too loud, your thoughts feel too heavy, and no amount of distraction can drown out what you feel deep inside. You're not broken, but something doesn't feel whole either. That quiet ache in your chest when you're alone, that exhaustion that coffee can't fix, the way your smile sometimes feels like a mask. That's not weakness, that's pain. Not the kind with a cast or bandage, emotional pain. The kind we carry silently, pretending everything's fine because we're too afraid to admit it's not. And healing, real healing, feels like a myth. Something poetic people talk about but no one really understands. Until you reach that moment, the one where you realize you can't keep running anymore. That's when healing begins. Not as a plan, not as a checklist, but as a surrender. A choice to stop pretending, to stop pushing, and to finally sit with what you've been carrying. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about coming home to yourself. Because peace doesn't come when life gets quiet. Peace comes when your inner storm begins to calm. And for that, you have to heal. 1. The invisible wounds we all carry. We've all got scars you can't see. Maybe your heart was shattered by a betrayal. Or maybe your parents loved you the only way they knew how, which wasn't nearly enough. Maybe no one ever really listened. Maybe someone left. Or maybe you left parts of yourself behind just to survive. These aren't dramatic traumas. These are the silent ones, the ones you downplay, dismiss, or deny because other people have it worse. But emotional pain doesn't work on a scoreboard. Micro traumas, the constant criticism, the abandonment that didn't look like abandonment, the praise that came only when you performed, can shape us more than we realize. They sneak into our relationships, our careers, our reactions. You flinch at kindness. You panic when things feel too good. You sabotage love, fearing loss. You don't even know why. But here's the truth. Just because no one saw the wound doesn't mean you didn't bleed. And healing starts the moment you validate your own pain, no matter how subtle it seems. Let yourself feel it. That ache is asking for your attention. 2. When pain becomes personality. Have you ever noticed how people become their defense mechanisms? The person who always jokes so no one gets too close. The one who overworks so they don't have to feel. The one who lashes out because it feels safer than being hurt again. Pain has a clever way of dressing up as personality. Over time, our reactions become habits. Habits become traits. Traits become identity. Before we know it, we're not just feeling hurt. We've become the hurt. You think you're bad at love, but really, you just never felt safe in it. You think you're lazy, but really, you're depressed and depleted. You think you're cold, but really, you're protecting a tenderness no one saw. Let me tell you a story. A man lived his whole life resenting his father. He said he was over it, but he wasn't. Every relationship he entered felt like a repeat of that childhood disappointment. Every argument was louder than necessary, every goodbye harder than it should have been. Not because of who he was dating, but because of the boy still inside him, aching to be seen, aching to be chosen. It wasn't until he realized that he was reliving his pain, not just remembering it, that something changed. You don't need to erase the past. You just need to stop letting it script your future. 3. The cost of not healing. Here's the thing. You can avoid healing for a while, maybe even for years. You can distract yourself with work, achievements, social media, fitness, or fixing others. You can smile through the pain, numb it with food, alcohol, ambition, or endless scrolling. But sooner or later, your body keeps score. Your relationships start to feel harder. You feel disconnected from others, from yourself, from life. And one day you find yourself lying awake at 2 a.m., Not because something went wrong, but because nothing feels right. That's the cost of not healing. You burn out from pretending you're fine. You become bitter, sarcastic, or cynical to protect your heart. You shut down joy because joy makes you vulnerable. You say yes when you mean no, just to avoid rejection. And it doesn't have to be this way. Peace isn't a fantasy. It's the consequence of healing. But that peace doesn't come when you avoid pain. It comes when you face it, gently and honestly. You don't have to keep suffering silently. There's another way. 4. Slowing down. The first real step. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat in silence? No phone, no playlist, no distractions. Most people can't even handle 5 minutes. Why? Because silence makes the noise inside louder. That's why we stay busy. Because slowing down means feeling, and most of us are terrified of what we might feel. But here's the paradox. You can't heal what you won't let yourself hear. Stillness is uncomfortable at first. You'll feel fidgety. You'll want to check your phone. You'll suddenly remember 100 things on your to-do list. But if you stay just a little longer, something beautiful happens. The chaos starts to settle. Your thoughts soften. Your body begins to breathe again. That's not laziness, that's listening. A monk once said, "Sit with your pain until it tells you its name." Stillness isn't about doing nothing, it's about doing what matters most. Reconnecting. Try this. Go for a walk without music. Journal for 10 minutes about what you're avoiding. Breathe deeply and just notice what comes up. It's awkward, it's raw, but it's real. And that's where healing lives. 5. The stories we tell ourselves. Humans are storytellers, not just out loud, but in our heads all day long. I'm not lovable. People always leave. I'm too much. I'll never get it right. These stories weren't written by your wisdom. They were shaped by your wounds. And unless you question them, they run your life. Think about it. How many things have you not done because you believed a story in your head? That fear of vulnerability, that wasn't logic. That was an old narrative whispering, "You'll get hurt again." That hesitation in relationships, that wasn't caution. That was your trauma saying, "It's safer to stay alone." Here's what's wild. Your brain doesn't care if a story is true. It cares if it's familiar. And healing means rewriting those stories, not with forced positivity, but with honest compassion. Instead of "I'm not enough," try "I've been made to feel that way, but I'm learning to see my worth." Instead of "I always mess things up," try "I'm growing and I make mistakes, but I'm still worthy." Speak to yourself like someone you love, because that inner dialogue, that's the soundtrack of your life. 6. Emotional literacy. Speak the unspoken. Let's be real. Most of us were never taught how to talk about feelings. We learned how to read, how to multiply, how to code or present or negotiate, but not how to say, "I'm hurt, I feel abandoned," or "I need support." We learned how to pretend, but healing demands honesty. And that starts with emotional literacy, naming your feelings instead of stuffing them down. It sounds simple, but naming emotions is powerful. Neuroscience backs it. Labeling what you feel calms your nervous system. It brings the chaos into focus. Instead of "I feel bad," try "I feel anxious because I'm afraid of disappointing someone." "I feel grief because I miss who I used to be." "I feel angry because my boundaries were crossed." The more specific you get, the less trapped you feel. Try affect labeling. It's a fancy term for simply saying out loud or writing down what you're feeling in real time. And don't judge your emotions, just observe them. Think of your feelings like weather passing through. You don't yell at the rain, you grab an umbrella. Same with sadness, jealousy, or rage. Let them show up, say their piece, and then let them pass. Healing means giving your emotions the words they never had. 7. The body keeps the score, but it also speaks. You ever notice how your shoulders tense when you're stressed? Or your stomach clenches during conflict? That's not in your your head. That's in your body. Your body is where your emotional memory lives. not just in your mind, not in some spiritual realm, right here, in your breath, your muscles, your posture. When trauma or chronic stress goes unprocessed, your nervous system gets stuck in survival mode, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And even if the danger is gone, your body doesn't always know that. That's why healing isn't just talking, it's moving, it's breathing, it's releasing. Here's what helps. Somatic work, noticing where emotions live in your body, tension in chest, tight jaw. True tension and trauma release exercises, shaking the body gently to let go of stuck energy. Breathwork, deep belly breathing to calm the vagus nerve and bring the body back to safety. Yoga or stretching, not for flexibility, but for emotional release. One woman I met used to sob during child's pose, not because of the stretch, but because her body was finally letting go. It's not dramatic, it's cellular. Peace isn't just a mindset, it's an embodied experience. Eighth, safe spaces. You don't heal alone. You were wounded in relationships. So guess what? You often need relationships to heal, not just romantic ones. Friendships, therapists, coaches, safe strangers. Healing alone is possible, but healing in safe company, that's powerful. Safe people don't fix you. They don't say, "At least it wasn't worse," or "try to stay positive." They listen, they witness, they say, "I get it," or "I'm here." And that kind of presence, it changes you. You stop feeling crazy for feeling things. You stop hiding. You start softening. Find your people, not the ones who say, "Cheer up," the ones who say, "Tell me more." 9. The forgiveness dilemma. Let's get something straight. Forgiveness isn't letting someone off the hook. It's letting yourself off the hook from carrying their poison in your bloodstream. People get forgiveness wrong. They think it's saying what you did was okay. Number forgiveness says, "What you did hurt me deeply, and I won't let it define my future anymore." Some people aren't sorry. Some will never be. You still get to heal. You still get to release. It doesn't mean you let them back in. It means you stop letting them live in your mind, rent-free. Forgiveness is a boundary, not an invitation. And sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You weren't weak. You were surviving. Give yourself that grace. 10th, rituals for release. Healing doesn't always happen through logic. Sometimes it needs ritual, a symbolic act, a moment that marks release. Write a letter to the one who hurt you, then burn it. Throw a rock into a river while naming what you're letting go. Create a grief altar for the part of you that's gone. We need these moments, not because they're magic, but because they speak to a deeper part of us. Our souls speak in symbol. Give them ceremony. 11. The gentle practice of self-compassion. Let's stop pretending self-compassion is optional. It's essential. If your inner voice is a bully, you'll keep breaking down. If your inner voice is a friend, you'll start rebuilding. Self-compassion doesn't mean you make excuses. It means you stop attacking yourself for being human. Practice this. When you mess up, ask, "What would I say to a friend in this moment?" Speak gently. You're not lazy. You're tired. You're not dramatic. You're overwhelmed. You're not broken. You're healing. It's not weakness. It's radical strength. 12th, rebuilding emotional boundaries. Peace needs protection, and boundaries are the fence around your peace. Without them, you absorb everyone else's chaos. Boundaries aren't mean. They're clear. They sound like, "I'm not available for that conversation." "I care about you, but I need space." "That doesn't work for me right now." You're not obligated to be emotionally available to everyone at all times. You deserve to be safe. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges to healthier relationships. 13. Relapse isn't failure. You'll have bad days. You'll get triggered. You'll fall into old patterns. It's not failure. It's part of healing. Think of recovery like climbing a spiral staircase. You circle the same emotional themes, but from a higher place each time. That sadness, it's familiar, but you hold it differently now. That anger, it rises, but it doesn't control you. Healing isn't perfection, it's resilience. 14. Rediscovering joy after grief. Grief changes you, not just after death, but after breakups. Life changes, identity loss. And in the beginning, joy feels like betrayal. You laugh and feel guilty, you smile and wonder if you're moving on too fast. But joy after grief isn't betrayal, it's testimony. It says, I've felt pain and I'm still capable of light. Start small, a favorite meal, dancing in your room, watching something funny, even if tears come after. Joy is a part of healing. Don't push it away, let it in. 15. Emotional healing and inner peace. Here's what healed people know. You don't react, you respond. You don't rush, you trust timing. You don't take things personally, you stay grounded in your truth. That's peace, not silence on the outside, but softness on the inside. You walk slower, you speak gentler, you listen better, because you're no longer fighting invisible wars. You're home. Conclusion, let it hurt, let it heal, let it go. You don't have to rush. You don't have to be okay by next week. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to start. Start by breathing. Start by listening. Start by forgiving the version of you that didn't know better. Healing isn't a destination. It's a relationship with yourself. And peace? Peace is what grows when you tend to that relationship with love, with grace, and with patience. You're not too late. You're not too much. You're right on time. Let it hurt, let it heal, let it go, and let yourself be free. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Your support helps us reach more people who need this wisdom. By liking, you show that you appreciate content that empowers and encourages personal growth. It only takes a second, and it really helps us grow.